All right. What is up? And welcome to the Rookie Reset. My name is Andrea Fitzgerald, and I'm going to be your host this evening. Now, you may be saying, what the heck is a Rookie Reset? Well, folks, it would be an evening just like this, except I would be stressed the hell out because I could not manage my class. And quite frankly, I can figure out this whole teaching thing. So what we do here at the Rookie Reset is to provide you as a new teacher with practical tools, tips, and strategies to help you stay in the game. Because oftentimes new teachers quit too soon because they are not getting the support they need. So we just want to support you and hopefully help you stay in the game. Hold on, y'all. Let me make my lighting is a little bit off. Give me like 2 seconds. We gonna get to that. We'll get this thing right. Hold on a second, y'all. We gotta get this thing right and tizite. Right. All right, we back in this thing. It sounds like, dang, I'm looking a little dark on here. Anyways, yeah. So yeah. So today, friends, we're gonna talk about getting ready for the first day of school. That's what we're gonna talk about. What should I be doing? So I have been in the teacher Facebook groups, and last week I had the opportunity. Shout out to MSCS, they had me there, and I was talking to new teachers about getting talking about how to build culture and relationships in their class. And something that continued to come up throughout our time together is a lot of teachers were like, I'm a new teacher. What should I be working on? What should I be doing? How should I be preparing for the first day of school? And I said, I'm so glad you asked. Because, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that you could be focusing in on. And in the Rookies Playbook, boom, boom, in the Rookies Playbook, I do talk about, okay, what's pregame? What are the things that I should be doing to start getting ready for the very first day of school? I do have that in the book. But before we get into those things, I think that as I often talk about, the thing that caught me off guard when it came to teaching, it wasn't the lesson plans, it wasn't the content. The part that threw me off was the other things, like the way that you kind of had to think, like the mindset you had to have to make that happen. So that's what threw me off. I wasn't prepared for that. I was like, wait a minute now. I thought that we were just in here. We was gonna teach you these little math problems. We're gonna come in here and just do what we gotta do. But that wasn't the case. So as I was thinking about that, I said, really, I mean, you could almost this idea that I was thinking about said, really, you just gotta have that rookie state of mind. Well, Fitz, what's that? And I thought about my own journey as not only a teacher, but as a basketball player, as becoming a coach, working in NBA, all these different things. Literally, I had to have this state of mind because challenges are inevitable. And I think that was the part that was the hardest because I'm imagining if you are a new teacher, you have been successful at just about everything that you have done. And I experienced the same thing or a similar thing. I've been good at just about everything. It was very tactical. I learned this, I executed, I get better immediately. And teaching was not like that. I was on a struggle bus. I was screaming and yelling every day. I didn't know if I was coming or going. That's what I was telling the people last week. I said, I didn't know if I was coming or going because it was so chaotic in my class. I don't know. I don't know if the people learned anything that year. But I didn't understand how I had to think about this thing for me to be successful. And once I started understanding some of these principles, this is what set me up for the challenges, not if they come, when they come. And when I look in some of these Facebook groups and when I talk to people who are having challenges, is because they are not prepared for what it comes with. And that's my hope, just in general, for new teachers, is to not only give you the practical things to make it happen, but also prepare you with the mental toughness and fortitude to stay in the game. Because it's not if the challenges come, it's a matter of when. So I want to share with you 5 ways to do that and start transforming my mindset. And then next week, throughout the next couple of weeks, we're going to get into specific tools that you can integrate in your class so that you can start preparing for the first day of school. So it's an acronym, START, because just like with anything, with being a rookie, you're new to it. And I think that it's embracing the idea that you are new to this, and it's okay. It's okay. So I want to share with you, well, let me back up. When we think about that idea, really and truly, everybody at some point is going to be a rookie at something. You may say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a new administrator this year. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be a new coach. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter who it is, whether you see the superintendent all the way down to your principal. They have been a rookie at something, or either they're a rookie in something in the past, or either in this very moment. We are always learning, we are always growing. So we really want to embrace that, what I call that rookie state of mind. And in short, to me, the rookie state of mind is this: the level up is in the losses, problems are a privilege, and I believe that I can do this because I might be new to this, but I know I'm true to this because I'm in this moment right now. That's the rookie state of mind. And I want us to take that rookie state of mind. So let's talk about, how do we do that? Because essentially we're starters. We're just beginning. How do we do it? So I wrote them down and I'm going to share them with you today. So the first one is the S. Be willing to be sorry. That's right. You heard me. Be willing to be sorry. Be willing to stink at it. I know for me, in my own personal journey, is, first of all, I'm gonna shout Dr. Precious out because she just done straight up changed my life out here, y'all. She done straight up changed my life, y'all. Shout out to Dr. Precious. If you know her, you're watching this, you need to go to her page right now and give her a follow. Because listen, y'all, she done changed my whole world out here. But one of the things this was a game changer for me. So I've been in her Me University course so it was a month-long course. And it was really about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-management, some of those things. It's been things for years that I have had challenges with. And when she explained, like when she broke it down, we went through the course, we learned different topics, that it was like, you're going to mess up. Let's embrace that. You are going to mess up. It's slowing down. And just like you became a great basketball player, at one point you couldn't dribble, and then you just kept doing it, and eventually you knew how to dribble. It was automatic. You didn't have to think about it. And that's the deal with being a new teacher. Same thing. You are going to make that. Be okay with, I don't have this figured out. Be all right with that, because it's not automatic. My first couple years, really, I'm not even gonna say my first year, I was still figuring it out. And it was some things, like I always say, my first year, we just gonna bless that thing. It was a whole disaster here. I shouldn't have been teaching nobody's kid, but I was willing to be sorry. And when I think about a lot of the successes that I've had, I'm just willing to stink. I'm okay with that, because the more that you do it, it's a little wobbly. It's a little awkward when you're trying it out. Like the first 2 weeks that I was trying to do my breathing exercises and stop being reactive, that when I tell y'all, that thing was so hard. And some days I got it right and other days I didn't. But you know what, now I'm in a better place. I'm more calm. I notice I'm not so reactive as I was, say, 3 weeks ago. And this is still an ongoing process, but I'm okay with that. But them first couple of weeks, it was messy as hell. I stunk. I was not good at it. And that's the deal with being a new teacher. You got to be okay with, you're not going to be good right off the bat. Okay. So just keep that in mind, that be okay with being sorry. And even as a basketball player, I was sorry before I was good. And just own that mindset. The next thing is take ownership, not excuses. Take ownership and not excuses. So when I think about some of the experiences I've had, and even as a new teacher, that when I was a basketball player, I got cut from my teams 2 times, 7th grade and 8th grade. And I remember I was so heartbroken, y'all. I mean, I talked to my mom. I said, why don't you think that I made it? And the truth was, I at that time, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't talented enough at that time. And even at the end of my 7th grade year, the coach said, oh, did you try out? And I was like, yeah, I tried out. You missed me, son. I was good. But anyways, but he didn't pick me. And I could have took that and I could have said, you know what? that coach, he didn't want me to do it, that I'm not, and me not take the ownership that honestly, I was not good enough at the time. I could have blamed a lot of things, and I could have said, oh, well, I guess I'm not good enough, so I'm just going to quit. I had to take ownership and not make excuses. And a lot of times what I see with some of the challenges of a new teacher, the challenges are going to come, right? Like one of the things I say, oh, they parents don't care. These kids don't care. So I can't teach. Nope. I got to take ownership and not make excuses. If that's not working, what other ways could I try to make that work? So be willing to look at solutions. One of the things, it's not our fault. Some things are not our fault, but it is our responsibility. I heard that I was listening to a podcast the other night. This guy, he was talking about being married, and he said some things that happen in our house, he said, it's not my fault, but it's my responsibility to figure out what I can do to make things better. And that's kind of how we kind of have to take a similar mindset. It's not our fault that certain things happen, but we are responsible for, the students in our care, even when problems arise, because we said, we know they're coming. How am I going to respond to this? What solution am I going to take? Because something that I have been processing with myself in my own personal work is this idea of personal responsibility. There's this idea of control. The only thing that we have control over are our thoughts and our actions, not other people. We get to decide how we're going to respond. Now, that's another thing. Shout out to Dr. P again. Yes, we still got to show up and be our authentic selves, regardless of what other people do. Yes, so take responsibility, take ownership, not excuses. It's not the kids, it's not the parents. What I'm going to do? That's their rookie state of mind. How am I going to find a solution to this? What I'm going to do? The next thing I would say is ask for help. It would be egotistical and crazy for me to say that the success I've had has just been by me and me alone. Insane. There is a lot of help out there as a new teacher. And one of the best ways to do that is a mentor, a PLC. Ask for help. And even get a therapist. Burnout is real out here in these streets. Boundaries are real out here in these streets. Having somebody to really talk through and process things together, because when we talk about help, essentially what we're saying is, I may need some more tools to deal with this. I may need some additional eyes to help me handle this. So we're saying, I'm saying here, just ask for help. Get the help you need. There's nothing wrong with you needing help. Too often, I see new teachers, we on the struggle bus and we don't say nothing to nobody. I was that person too, y'all. I was on the struggle bus. I don't know how long, but I didn't ask anybody. In the four walls, struggling, not saying anything to anybody. It is okay to ask for help. It's actually power in you asking for help. That's a level of humility. And also, you'll get there a lot quicker. I often talk about the time I tried to move a big old microwave by myself. My fiance told me before she left, she was like, don't do it. And I was like, nope, I'm about to try. And y'all, I must have did that for about an hour, bust my knee and everything. I asked my neighbor, she come over, we did it in less than 2 minutes, maybe 3. But it came on down because I got help. You don't have to do this as a new teacher by yourself. If you need support, you need help, reach out to me. Send me a message, fitz@mentalfitness.com. Fitz@mentalfitness.com. Listen, I'm here to help teachers. All right. The next one is the R, and the R is be reflective and open to feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Fuzzy wuzzies are great, but we also want to be coachable and open to receiving help. I know sometimes for myself, the other day, my fiance was asking me to do something. I just kept saying, I know. I didn't know. Y'all, I didn't know. And eventually I look back and say, oh yeah, she was actually right. But I felt like I needed to know. I was in my ego. And there is be willing to assess yourself. Be willing to look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm doing this well. I may need some adjustment. And then bring other people in to support you. Telling you like, hey, you may want to work on this. You may want to consider that. Because oftentimes I've talked to new teachers and it's like, oh, I know. But you don't know. It's chaotic in here. And I definitely, it's something that I have to challenge myself on too, because I can be very like I already know, like I already know, and my ego, it ain't no secret out here. Like sometimes I be getting real deep in my ego. So I really have to check that. But it's okay for you not to, but being reflective, being willing to look at yourself. So even as when I played college basketball, each summer I worked on something different. My coach called me to the carpet my freshman year, and he said, if you don't learn to shoot, you're not gonna play. And I remember my little feelings was hurt. I was like, dang, I ain't gonna play. But you know what I did that summer? I went in the gym and I made 300 jumpers. I made 100 catch and shoot, 100 off the dribble, and 100 threes. And by the next year, I think I was either the first or the second person in 3-point percentage. But that's because I went in the gym, I was reflective, and I took the feedback. And each year, as a basketball player, it was my jump shot and my threes. My freshman year, my next year, it was my left hand. The next year, I think it was rebounding, or it was like my speed, or every year I adjusted my game. And the same thing is true in your classroom. Every year you want to adjust your teaching game. Every class, maybe. Even sometimes I always say my third period got the best lesson because I made adjustments as I went along the day. But just being reflective, being willing to make those adjustments, and being willing to look at yourself. They say, I was talking to my fiance one time, and I was asking her, she's a doctoral, she was a doctoral student, and she was doing some studying on performance. And she said, what makes people the most successful according to this study? I was like, oh, discipline, hard work. She said, no, self-awareness. Because we can't change what we won't name. And if we're willing to look within ourselves, then we can make adjustments. And sometimes it's hard. Like, I'm telling y'all right up top, I love people to make me feel good. I love people to make me feel good. But honestly, that's why I love my fiance. She does not care about telling me the truth about myself. I promise you, I am an ounce of a person without her, because she does not care. She will tell me, girl, you out of order. She checks me consistently, and I get so irritated. But after we leave the conversation, I go back to myself. I think about it. I was like, okay, she's right. She gave me some feedback today. I said, oh, let me think about this. She's right. She's willing to check me. And I have to be reflective and take that information in and make adjustments. So be reflective and open to feedback. And the last one, the T, is take the losses and learn what makes you great. So take the L's. One thing I will tell you, the losses are what make phenomenal teachers. They don't tell us that. I promise you they don't tell you that. Y'all want to know how I learned how to get on Power School? I called this out of my own classroom. I asked the student for the phone number, and I thought she was giving me the right one. It wasn't. That is literally how I learned to get in Power School, and that is a hard lesson to learn. I say that over and over. It is a very challenging lesson to learn, and I learned all kinds of lessons my first year. I learned not to give them quizzes sometimes with the answers in the back of the book, because one time I gave a student a quiz and she said, and you know what she put on her test? Answers may vary. So I knew that the answer was in the back of the book, because who says answers may vary, yo? Like, you put that on the test? For real? You put that as your answer? So you're going to make mistakes. The losses are what make you great. They're what make you phenomenal. It's not me writing a book that has made me great. That's not what made me great. It's the challenges I had as a new teacher is what created the book. It's not, oh my gosh, 80% of your students were proficient, which that's phenomenal. But it took me 3 times to pass my praxis tests to even get to be able to be certified to teach. That's what made me into a great teacher, because it wasn't a lot of times, even with people who don't pass the exam, it's not that they cannot teach the content. It's like, man, this freaking test. And especially with teachers of color, like, the test, it's a challenge. It has been a challenge. So it's not those things. So just keep that in mind. The losses are what make you phenomenal. That's what's going to transform you into the teacher that you want to be. Because I promise you, as a new teacher, it's just a lot of things like you do not know. When I worked in the NBA, one time I planned this big summer camp, and it was gonna be here and be there and this and this and the other. And it didn't work out. I think that it was quiet. Oh, my dog's out here, and it didn't work out. You know why? Because I didn't know that you had to prepare for it a certain way. So no one came. I think it was maybe 30, 40 kids or something. It was supposed to be 200 people. But that was because I learned that through mistakes. And I knew next year, I said, okay, I need a smaller venue, or I need to market it this way. I need to make this adjustment. And the same is true in your classroom. You will make the mistakes. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Now you may be saying, you know what, Fitz, I need to get some more reps on this. All right. So I need you to go to bit.ly/new teacher start. And we are going to go a little bit more in depth on how you can start your year strong. But over the next few weeks, we are going to be pre-gaming it. We are going to be getting ready. Bring your cocktail, baby. We're going to pre-game and get you ready for the first day of school, y'all. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what's your run of show, baby. We're going to talk about how do I need to be setting up my classroom? What are the systems that I might need to be thinking about? We're going to talk a little about that. That's what we're going to do. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And don't forget, y'all got to keep that rookie state of mind. And remember, the level up is in the losses. Problems are privileged. Yeah, you might be new to this, but I know you're true to this. So believe in yourself, because you absolutely got this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all get out there this week and do those rookie t-shirts, push-ups, y'all. Y'all do them rookie push-ups. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'm out.